To take a peek behind the curtain on how the influencer economy actually works, we are joined by two guests. Maddie Graves-witherell is a Boston-based influencer with over 1 million followers who has been making content for the last 10 years across several platforms. And Leah Haberman is a creator economy expert and corporate consultant for social media marketing. Welcome to you both. Thanks for being with us on the Curiosity Desk.
Thank you. This is so exciting. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Okay, so I want to start with a question that I'd like you both to address. And Maddie, I think we'll start with you, but I would love to get a sense of what are the biggest misconceptions that you find people have around around like what an influencer is and what they do?
I think the biggest misconception is that we don't do anything.
Right.
A lot of people have been saying that ever since I've been growing up as an influencer. People think that we don't do work and it's really easy and you're just on your phone and just do whatever. But I mean, the second you wake up, you're doing something for social media creating. So you are doing something. It's very tedious also. But you're always doing something. You're always being creative. There's a lot of work that people don't see that's put into it.
Gotcha. Leah, same question for you. From where you sit, what do you find is the sort of biggest misconception you think people have?
I'm gonna give you two. I think one is that followers don't automatically translate to dollars. You have to be strategic about it, and you've got to be doing something specific and earning money, whether it's brand deals or affiliate sales. I would say the second thing is a little bit like what Maddie said. It is a job. There are small businesses, sometimes actually mid to large size businesses, if you're thinking of like a Mr. Beast, and you have to have like creator market fit. It's the same thing as launching any business, and there's just so much that goes into it. So it is not easy. It's hard work. It's fun work, but it is hard work.
Gotcha. All right, Maddie, I want to go back to you. You sort of, as you just said, it is work. You said there's some tedium involved, and you've been doing this for a long time. So tell us a little bit about your sort of work as an influencer, your journey in it, and like just basically like what is the job?
Yeah. I mean, it's influencing people. So yeah. I have an audience. They're mainly based in Boston, and it's just kind of showing them my life, little teeny bits of me, what I do, some fun things around Boston to do. That's mainly been my main priority for my social media channels recently. It's been like restaurants to try in Boston, really fun activities to do in Boston or around Boston, things like that. So it's kind of just influencing an audience to see what they can do, what there is around them, more cultural based.
So as you sort of built this audience over the years, like how long have you been doing this?
Oh my goodness. I did it since I was 14. I'm 24 now. So
10 years.
10 years.
So you've been at this for a decade.
Yeah.
So over the course of that time, sort of two questions. One, as you built these, like in the beginning, when you started this, was the notion like, hey, this is going to be a way to potentially make money, or were you just doing it for fun?
I was doing it for fun. It came out of nowhere, honestly. It was when Musical.ly was a thing. So they kind of just promoted my videos randomly, and I just kind of had to deal with it. Just had to figure out, all right, well, this is what's going to happen now. I'm still in middle school, so this is not really going to change much.
Yeah.
But when I was in high school, there's always been those conversations saying, hey, like you could move out to a different city, you could cross the country and do this full time. So there's always been those conversations, but I was never into it to that point. I was a student athlete. I wanted to go to college full time. So I knew that wasn't my route, but there's always that chance that I could have done that.
Yeah. And so you do it, for lack of a better, I mean, you might say it differently, but like as a side hustle, right? You have another day job, which is like your main gig, and you kind of do this on the side.
Yeah, this is more of like a fun type of thing that I do.
Gotcha. All right, I want to turn to you, Leah. Break down for us a little bit, and Maddie, maybe you can weigh in on this too. At its core, how does the influencer make money, and from whom? Like, how is the money made?
Well, the number one way, it's about 74% of creator revenue is made through brand deals. So it's sponsorships, endorsements, creating content for brands, whether it runs on the creator or influencer feed or the brand feed. But brand deals is number one. Ad revenue, probably number two, especially if you're a YouTuber. You get into the YouTube Partner Program, you make money through views on your content, but you do have to be eligible for that. Each network has kind of brand or like creator funds, but YouTube is definitely the top tier one. And then I would say affiliate sales is probably the third way, which is essentially like commissions when influencers say, hey, if you love what I'm wearing, eating, where I'm staying, click the link in bio to buy this product.
And what are creator funds? when you say that?
Well, so each platform, TikTok, I mean, influencer marketing primarily takes place on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. That's where the major ad spend or like the dollars get spent. And each platform has its version. YouTube's is probably the most straightforward, transparent, and has been around pretty much since the beginning, once they started introducing ads on YouTube. Instagram is a little bit shrouded in mystery. It's hard to get into the creator program. It's hard to get funds from Meta. Right now, Facebook is actually paying TikTokers, YouTubers, and Instagrammers to start posting on Facebook. But that's a program that probably has an end date. Meta doesn't consistently pay creators. And then TikTok has different things. They've got, they've got different programs depending on what kind of creator you are, what level, what tier you're at. They'll have creator programs. Doesn't pay quite as well as YouTube, but it is a way for creators to make money, getting paid directly by the platforms.
So for you, Maddie, like, you don't have to disclose how much you're making this, but how, like, what kind of deals are you making? Are these things that you are going out and trying to, like, broker a deal with somebody, or does somebody come to you and say, like, hey, we'd like you to go do this thing and we'll throw you a bit of money? Like, how does it work from your end making money?
Yeah, so a lot of companies come to me. That's, I would say, 70% of my income. That's how it happens. People know me as a Boston-based influencer, so it's a lot of Boston-based companies or New England-based companies. But then 30% is just me reaching out to them in hopes that they would want to work with me. So just kind of like pitching myself to them. But a couple years ago, my main source of income from social media influencing was from Instagram and their programs. But totally correct with that. It's very don't really know what's going on with them all the time. They change their rules a bunch. So, yeah.
Leah, I see you sort of nodding here. You want to weigh in?
Yeah, I mean, I would say probably of the platforms, TikTok, YouTube, and Meta, Instagram is probably the hardest one to get into because there is no clear criteria. Yeah. You can't apply to be part of the program. Essentially, you are asked to be in the program to receive, creator funds from Meta. And so, it's great if you can do it, but like Maddie said, the rules change all the time.
You listen to the Curiosity Desk on GBH. We're talking with local influencer Maddie graves-witherell and creator economy expert Leah Haberman about the influencer economy and who makes a profit with the content you see on your social media feeds. Leah, I mean, you've both kind of, talked about the fact that these platforms sort of change over time. Obviously, if you've been doing this for a decade, Maddie, we look back to a decade ago and what the social media landscape looked like. It was very, very different than it is now. How has this industry changed over the last 10 years, and how does it look now versus how it looked when Maddie was building a huge following from your perspective, Leah?
I mean, one of the first things is that TikTok wasn't around 10 years ago. And so that was a big one. 2019, 2020, that was where you had a lot of opportunity to grow very fast on that platform. YouTube and Instagram obviously have been around a lot longer. I think YouTube just hit their, I want to say 20th anniversary. And so those have been around for a while. I think we've gone from long form video on YouTube to shorts. Instagram brought out Reels. TikTok appeared around 2019, 2020, or really took off at that time. The algorithms consistently change. We've gone from a friend-based feed where people who followed you would see you to more of an interest-based feed now. So they're serving up content depending on if you live in New England, if you live in Boston, for example, and you love to find out like what to do in Boston on the weekend, you might get served that content whether or not you follow Maddie. It's based on what your interests are.
Do we have a sense of do we have just baseline idea of how many people are sort of trying to be influencers, and what percentage of those generally are like full-time actually succeeding as this is my full-time gig? I mean, maybe not making millions of dollars, like maybe, I think people know like Alex Earl or Mr. Beast, like these very big ones. But in terms of like full-time versus the pool of people who are trying to make a living doing this, can you sketch that out a little bit for us, Leah?
Yeah, I mean, there's been estimates that it's anywhere from 2 million to 300 million globally of people who self-identify as creators. And I think when you think of Gen Z, they're constantly creating, whether it's, split screen videos, they're doing commentary, follow along. There's only about 10% of influencers who actually earn over $100,000 a year. So I would probably qualify those people as full-time influencers. There are a lot of side hustle or kind of hobbyist influencers. And the median creator earning is anywhere from like $3,000 to $10,000. So there are a lot of people who are just earning, I don't want to say like allowance or pocket money, but like very small amounts of change, or receiving free product in exchange for endorsement, for example.
Maddie, as you point out, you've been doing this for a decade, and it can be tedious. It can be hard work. I imagine you've got to be doing it regularly to maintain your audience, to make it worth it. What keeps you doing it after 10 years? It's not your main gig. As you said, you have another job. Like, why do you keep at it? What is the draw?
I have a whole entire community. They're super, super supportive. The people who follow me, they've been with me since I was 14. So it's the same audience. It's the same community. They've seen me grow up. They see me go through breakups. They see me have friends. They see me go through high school, graduate high school, go to college, all that stuff. So it's just friendship. I have a friendship with all these people, and it's just really nice. So having that constant support there, it's just great.
Do you feel a sense of responsibility toward them?
In some cases, yeah. Being authentic and truthful is one of the biggest ones, I would say. There's a lot of influencers where, they have to be careful with what they say and their opinions on things. I try to be as authentic as I can, especially with like political things, things that I go through. Just having that emotional support system. It could just be from the screen, just saying, I went through the same things that you went through. We can all get it together. So.
What do you get from it? Like, like in terms of, being a part of that community, or for sharing your life with these folks? Like, what's the thing you get from it?
It's just a sense of community. It's just a sense of community. It's just nice. It's what I grew up with. It's nothing out of the ordinary. That's kind of how I view it. It's just, these are people off the screen. They've seen me since I was 14. They're just part of my life now. So it's just kind of like, this is just the same old thing. Just telling them what my life's about, what I'm doing today, what to do in Boston.
You listen to the Curiosity Desk on GBH. We're talking with local influencer Maddie Graves-Witherell and creator economy expert Leah Haberman about the influencer economy. Leah, you don't have to go far, I think, to find a headline that will say something along the lines of "the age of the influencer is over." This feeling that that this as a way of doing business, for lack of a better way of saying it, has jumped the shark. What say you to that?
I think it's great clickbait. I think anytime you can have a, big, bold headline of like, this thing is over, we're not going to do this system anymore or use this framework. I don't think that's true. I think there's always going to be somebody who influences their audience. I think it's just going to shift who it is. I mean, celebrities used to be influencers. Then we had digital creators. I think the trend that we're seeing this year is actually employees, executives or employees at companies. And so I think a lot of employee advocacy programs where employees post about their companies online, I think those are going to be further developed. And we're starting to see companies do training to try and elevate their employees to be influencers of a sorts.
Do we have a sense of like where sort of brands in general, and I'm sure this is obviously different depending on the company, it's probably different depending on the industry, but in terms of like the marketing money they spend, or wherever in their budget money for, spending money to connect with influencers and stuff, like where does that fall in the mix of things that they're spending money on in terms of trying to get their brand out there?
I mean, it depends on the company, the category, but it's certainly, we are seeing all budgets shifting to influencer marketing. So whether it's TV spend, social ad spend, we are seeing all of that shift over towards influencer marketing. And it is starting to become a large portion of the budget that companies are spending.
All right, I want to, like I did with the start, with one question for both of you. I'm going to do the same here at the end, and we will start with you, Maddie. What advice would you give to somebody if they wanted to start making content right now and sort of make a go of being an influencer?
Just be yourself. There's so many different ways to be yourself on social media, and you just got to figure out what part of that is actually what's going to be doing well on social media. Like when I was on TikTok, I was trying to figure out what TikTok liked, what they promoted. So I did beauty videos, I did comedy videos, I did fashion videos, and they really liked my comedy videos where I just made fun of myself. So you just have to figure out what they like, but also being you. And I'm totally fine being, funny, making fun of myself. That's just who I am. I'm really clumsy and goofy. So it's perfect for me. So just finding your niche and finding that niche, and make sure that social media platform, they're going to promote that.
All right. Leah, what would you say?
They do say that it takes like posting 70 to 100 times to figure out what works for you, what works for the audience. So I think that's very accurate. I would also say the just get started. I'm actually working with creators. I teach at UCLA, and so I'm working with some creators tonight on an assignment of like your day one video, just posting and being comfortable with being uncomfortable and kind of cringy. That's okay. Everybody starts somewhere. And if you look back at your favorite influencers or creators, their day one video was probably just as embarrassing or cringy as whatever you're about to produce.